Okay, for 10.1, this is a little bit of a review, but we're going to talk about length and the measuring distance. There are two units that we could use. Now, in the US, they use the US customary system, and in the rest of the world, they use the metric system. The US customary system uses inches, feet, yard, and miles. Sometimes you'll also see some of the metric system, but most commonly language is used are those words. The metric system is millimeters, centimeters, meter, and kilometer. Now, the tools we use to measure these things are, like here you can see the measuring tape right there. Now on the measuring tape there are different symbols. Usually you can see inches, centimeters, you can see all of those things. And over here you have the meter stick and the yardstick. A lot of people get those two confused, but the meter stick is a little bit longer than the yardstick. So what we have here are two images of a measuring tape. You can see on there are, this top part says 4F, that's 4 feet, right? And this is 3 feet and 11 inches. That's also the same as 4 feet is 48 inches. I'm sorry. So 48 inches is 4 feet. Now let's consider how many inches are in a foot. Now you might already know this, some of you, but 1 foot is equal to 12 inches. Okay? And 3 feet is equal to 1 yard. Okay? So if 3 feet equals 1 yard and 1 foot is 12 inches, if I were to ask you how many inches are in a yard, we'd have, so how many inches are in a yard, we would take, we know that here's 12 inches in 1 foot. So we need 3 of these, or 3 12s. Okay? So if you wanted to break that down easier, you could say 3 10s and 3 2s if we were to do partial product. Okay, so 3 10s, we have 30, 3 2s, we have 6, so 36. So 1 yard is 36 inches. So the point in what I'm trying to say, and when I say this, is that if you were to look at a measuring tape, you would see that there might be 4 feet, which is equal to 48 inches, or here we have 1 foot equal to 12 inches. You might also see, I don't have an image of this, but if you were to see on here 18 inches, 18 inches equals 1.5 feet, which is equal to half of a yard. Okay, so we're going to look at that today when we look at the measuring tapes in class to see what similarities we see. Let's take a look at our math journal now. So in our math journal, you would look at what it says in your directions here. It would say measure in centimeters, okay? So it's asking you the path from A to B, so you need to be measuring all of these, okay? And C to D. Now look on the side, there's C to D, so don't miss that, okay? So make sure you're reading the centimeters on your ruler. Okay, on number 2, it says make a dot on the 3.5 inches. If this is 0, 1, 2, 3 inches, okay? And the image here, let me see if I can get closer at it. Oops. No. I'll just show you here. Okay, that's 1/2 inch right here. And then that's the full inch. Okay, so you'd make a dot right there and you'd label it E. Okay, then at 4 3/4 of an inch. So the thing with the ruler that it gives you here is, there we go, that's what I wanted to do. If that's the full inch right there, that's half an inch, that's the full inch here. These little lines right there, that's 1/4. So that's 1/4. This one right here, that middle one, is 1/2, 3/4. So kind of like we've talked about with our fractions. Okay, you need to be looking at how you would break up the full inch, and that's why it's giving you 3.5 inches or 4 3/4. And then continue with the directions of labeling it F or labeling it G. This one is 7/8. So with 2 and 7/8, you would really need to look at, we know that the denominator on the bottom tells us how many equal groups there are. So between 2 and 3, there are 8 equal groups. So let's zoom in a little bit more here. Okay, we'll use this. We have, if we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, that it can't be those ones, because we know that it's 8 out of the entire full inch. Okay, so it can't be those really, really small ones. So maybe we'll try the second one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so those would be your 8 different parts or fractions of the inch. So that's 1/8 inch, 2/8 inch, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, 6/8, 7/8 inch. Okay, so keep in mind how you're going to break up the ruler based on the denominator. Okay, with those letters that you already wrote on here, like the F, the E, the G on those points, you're going to measure the distance in inches between those ones. Okay, and that's the 5, 6, 7. On the bottom, you're going to see conversions, kind of like we talked about earlier. 3 yards equals how many feet? 4 yards and 1 foot is how many feet? Okay, 1 foot and 8 inches. Okay, this one, it is asking you to tell you how many yards and feet this would be. So 7 feet, I'll tell you right now, is not equal to a perfect number of yards. So you'll have some leftover feet to put on the end. Okay, number 12, you're talking about area. You know how we do that. We do the length times width. So length times width. Okay, and on the bottom, measuring the size of the rectangle in centimeters. Find the area. Make sure you're using a ruler that shows you centimeters. And on the last part of 10.1, you're going to do page 242 and 243. On 242, this is a review of different multiplication algorithms that you choose. If you would like to do lattice, you may do lattice. And if you would like to do partial product, you may do that also. Okay, but please make sure you show your work. And 243 are math boxes. Please complete all of these. Thank you.